Welcome, discerning listeners, to the Deep Dive. Take a moment and just think about your favorite spaces. Maybe it's that perfectly cozy cafe, the one where you feel instantly at ease. Or maybe it's that super efficient office layout that just helps workflow. Or even your own living room, perhaps, maybe meticulously arranged for comfort and connection. We often step into these places, these interior environments, and we just kind of absorb their aesthetic, their comfort, how perfectly they seem to work. It feels intuitive, doesn't it? Artistic, almost effortless sometimes. But what if I told you that behind those, seamlessly designed spaces, there's this deep, incredibly regulated, and highly professional world? It's way more than just picking pretty colors or arranging furniture. It's actually the result of a rigorous, legally recognized profession, and one that has evolved, well, pretty dramatically over decades here in the Philippines. Okay, let's unpack this then. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating, really intricate story of how interior design in the Philippines transformed, how it went from what was largely, an informal decoration practice.
Right, sort of ad hoc.
Exactly. Into this respected, autonomous, and legally recognized profession. It's a journey just brimming with pioneering individuals, people who dared to envision something more. There were legislative battles fought with just unyielding persistence, and this fierce collective commitment to establishing and maintaining the highest standards, really, for public welfare.
What's truly fascinating here, and what we really want to illuminate today, is precisely that journey. How a field, often perceived as, let's face it, purely artistic, or maybe even a bit superficial, how it systematically built its entire foundation. Moving from addressing urgent post-war reconstruction need, literally everything had to be rebuilt from the ground up.
Yeah, the scale must have been immense.
Absolutely. And moving from that to creating these really comprehensive legal frameworks. And these frameworks weren't just about defining a job title. They were fundamentally about ensuring public trust, safeguarding professional integrity, and ultimately contributing to national development itself. This deep dive, I hope, will illuminate not just what happened, but critically, why these steps, these meticulous steps, were utterly crucial. Crucial for recognition, for credibility, and for the overall impact of the profession.
And our sources for this deep dive, they're pretty rich and varied. We're primarily drawing from historical documents, key legal acts like Republic Acts 8534 and 10350, and also foundational organizational statements directly from the Philippine Institute of Interior Designers, the PIOD, plus related academic texts and research, particularly materials like those from USC IN 3131.
That's right.
These give us this really unique historical and structural perspective, letting us trace this remarkable evolution. So our mission today, to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from all this material, understand the key milestones that shaped this profession, and truly see, maybe through the lens of those who lived it, how this dedicated community of practitioners built a legally recognized professional body, basically from the ground up, facing challenges, overcoming them, every single step of the way.
So yeah, let's begin this journey. Okay, let's really try and set the scene. Imagine the Philippines right after World War II. The devastation, it's hard to fully grasp. The landscape was scarred. Cities like Manila, virtually razed.
Just flattened in many areas.
Exactly. Homes, offices, public spaces, just so much needed rebuilding, not just structurally, but functionally, aesthetically. It wasn't just about putting up walls. It was about designing the interiors that would, literally breathe life back into them. Productivity, a sense of normalcy.
Fundamental human needs, really. Right. Think about the sheer scale of that challenge. And then you have this urgent influx of American government aid coming into the new Philippine government. Plus, significant private investment, both local entrepreneurs and foreign entities jumping in.
Kicking off that reconstruction effort.
It jump-started this massive, vital reconstruction. The demand for rebuilding was just palpable, driving this intense foundational need for designed interior spaces.
And in that immediate post-war context, if we look at the bigger design picture, interior design as we know it, as a distinct discipline, it didn't really exist yet.
Interesting. So where did it fit?
It was firmly, almost exclusively under the umbrella of architecture. Architects were, primarily the ones who took on the interior design of their own building projects.
Yeah.
There just wasn't a separate, recognized profession for interior design itself.
So kind of an add-on service.
Exactly. It was seen as an adjunct service, maybe even an afterthought sometimes, rather than a standalone discipline with its own specialized knowledge, its own methods. This meant that while spaces were being designed, of course, the specialization we know today, that focus on human interaction within an environment, ergonomics, psychology of space, that was still very much in its infancy, it really highlights a critical void, doesn't it? A void that would soon demand to be filled.
And because it wasn't this formal profession, interior design was often practiced quite informally, almost like a hobby, maybe, or an extension of one's social standing.
That's a good way to put it. You had prominent Filipino families, often these avid art collectors with a really keen eye for beauty. They would sort of dabble in interior design within their own social circles.
Influencing through their own homes.
Precisely. They'd influence others primarily through the beautifully designed interiors of their own homes, which became these showcases of taste, of refinement. It was much more about demonstrating personal aesthetic, social influence, maybe access to unique furnishings from abroad, rather than any kind of formal training, standardized methodology, or, importantly, regulated practice.
So a social trend, maybe a lifestyle statement for the elite, more than a vocation with clear rules.
Yes, I think that captures it well. It lacked the defined boundaries, responsibilities, and professional standards we expect now. And this informal nature, it carried some pretty significant implications. Critically, it meant it wasn't regulated.
Right. No rules, basically.
Pretty much. This meant that literally anyone who could get their hands on furniture, select some lighting fixtures, arrange art on walls, or manage buying curtains, upholstery, carpets, they could essentially call themselves an interior decorator or maybe a stylist.
Ah, the decorator versus designer distinction starting early.
Exactly. There was no legal requirement for formal education, structured training, or even a basic understanding of crucial elements like spatial planning, ergonomics, safety codes, material science.
Things that are fundamental now.
Absolutely fundamental. This raises that basic question for any field trying to professionalize. How do you establish credibility? How do you protect the public? How do you even guarantee a baseline level of quality without formal standards, without a clear definition of who's actually competent and accountable? It was, in many ways, kind of a professional free-for-all.
Making it tough for clients to know who to trust, I imagine.
Very difficult. Discerning genuine expertise from, well, amateur enthusiasm was a real challenge.
But even in that, let's say, largely unregulated, informal landscape, something was stirring, a quiet revolution maybe. Imagine a handful of visionary individuals looking at this nascent field and seeing not just decoration, but a critical, impactful profession just waiting to be born. And that, discerning listeners, that's where the true professional Filipino interior design practice began to emerge. Not suddenly, but through this gradual, deliberate shift, led by some truly remarkable pioneers, starting around the early to mid-1950s.
Precisely. And this shift, it was primarily a direct result of several pioneering architecture graduates, mostly from the University of San Tomas, UST. These individuals, who had studied diligently under the directorship of the esteemed national artist for visual arts, Victorio Dades,
Good name.
huge, they began to consciously push the traditional boundaries of architecture. Did one of two things, generally. They either pursued more advanced, specialized interior design studies in the U.S., bringing back a more sophisticated understanding, or they championed a more professional outlook for interior design right here, advocating for its recognition as deeply integrated with, yet distinct from, structural design within their own architectural practice. This was a critical conceptual shift, wasn't it? Recognizing interior spaces as living environments needing specialized expertise.
Beyond just the structure.
Beyond just the structure. And we simply have to highlight some key names here. Their foresight, their influence, it's just profound. We're talking about Wilfredo Willie Fernandez, Leticia Letty Sablon Limpo, Belen Sablon Moray, Edith Oliveros, and Mercedes Ched Berenguer Tapaccio.
Names we'll likely hear again.
Definitely. These individuals weren't just practicing designers. They were instrumental in laying the very groundwork for the profession. And UST wasn't just producing these visionaries, it actively recognized the growing need. UST became the first Philippine school to introduce interior design as a fine arts major, launched its groundbreaking program in 1954.
That early. Wow.
Yes. And its very first teachers included some of those same pioneers, Jed Berenguer Tapaccio, Leticia Sablon Limpo, Belen Sablon Moray, and Sonia Santiago Olivares. And it wasn't an isolated event either. Architects from other Manila schools, like Lorenzo Lor Calma, he finished his architecture degree at Mapua Institute of Technology in 1954. He also started turning his focused attention to interior design during this vital formative period. This confluence, academic innovation plus pioneering practice, it shows a critical mass forming, signaling a real demand for formalized training and a distinct professional identity.
So if I'm understanding this right, the profession got a crucial new layer of sophistication when these Filipino architect teachers returned, having specifically trained abroad in interior design. It wasn't just general architectural knowledge they brought back.
No, it was much more focused. The return was transformative. They brought back advanced knowledge, formalized methodologies, a much broader international perspective on the discipline. We're talking about individuals like Belen Sablin-More, Leticia Sablin-Lumpo, Ched Berenguer Topacio, Sonia Santiago Olivares, Myrna Cruz, all of whom rigorously pursued and completed graduate studies at the prestigious New York School of Interior Design between 53 and 55.
Impressive credentials.
Very. And Edith Oliveros, who earned her master's in interior design at Drexel Institute in Philadelphia. Their specialized training was absolutely key. This also directly led to the emergence of locally trained Filipino architects who began to exclusively focus on designing their own interior projects. Specializing, yes. And critically, at the same time, they started prioritizing sourcing materials via local suppliers. This fostered not only a local design identity, but also actively stimulated and grew a nascent local design industry. This symbiotic relationship, advanced global knowledge plus commitment to local resources, laid a really strong foundation.
And to make this era really vivid, let's bring in a fascinating detail. Remember when department stores were these bustling cultural hubs, not just places to shop?
Oh, yes, Aguinaldo.
Exactly. Aguinaldo's department store down in Echco, Manila. Apparently, it became the most popular, dynamic venue for introducing new interior design styles, new furnishings, to a burgeoning local clientele. People like Ched Berenguer Topacio, Edith Oliveros, Sonia Santiago Olivares, Laura Calma, Edgar Ramirez, Antonio Varina, Myrna Cruz, Antonio Zamora. Others, too. They were setting up regular, quite elaborate showroom displays there, starting in the mid-1950s.
It wasn't just retail, was it? It was education.
It was like a living gallery, an exposition of emerging tastes, a direct interface between professional designers and a curious public, actively shaping how people perceived interior spaces.
And this highly visible, concerted effort through the showrooms, it was a direct and necessary response to that huge post-war building boom. This boom was rapidly expanding beyond just central Manila and Pasay. It was pushing aggressively into vast new suburban residential projects, burgeoning commercial centers.
So more houses, more offices needing design.
Exactly. With this rapid expansion of middle-class housing, the general office construction industry, by the early 1960s, the demand for qualified, competent professionals just exploded. And with that explosion in demand, the need for formal professional regulation became not just desirable, but absolutely undeniable. There was this collective, urgent desire among these pioneers. They wanted to elevate interior design from merely decoration, which, let's be honest, often carried a connotation of superficiality, to a respectable and nobler field in the allied arts, recognized for its profound functional and artistic contributions. This growing demand and the accompanying recognition of its importance set the crucial stage for the next monumental leap, formal organization.
So this urgent need for regulation, for a clear professional identity, it wasn't just talk anymore, it sparked decisive action. Middle of 1964, you mentioned, a series of pivotal meetings took place among these pioneers, spurred by this shared vision, form a truly formal, unified professional organization.
It wasn't casual.
No, it sounds like a concerted, strategic effort, bringing structure, credibility, a collective voice to this burgeoning but still unregulated field. What was the catalyst, do you think, that finally brought them together to form that united front?
What's fascinating is how quickly it seemed to move then, from individual recognition to collective action, driven by that shared purpose and the growing urgency for standards. So, middle of 64, a key group, including the very names we've been discussing, Laura Calma, Ched Berenguer Topacio, Willie Fernandez, Mel Gana, Rosario Luz, Edgar Ramirez, Antonio Zamora, they formally agreed on the foundational idea. Let's establish this body. And what's particularly poignant, I think, highlighting the personal dedication involved, the final selection of the first batch of officers for this prospective organization actually happened in Laura Calma's own house in New Manila.
Really? That personal?
Yeah. A very personal, intimate beginning for what would become a major professional body. It just underscores the deep commitment of these founding individuals. This nascent organization then took that crucial, legally binding step, formal establishment. They meticulously registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, on September 9, 1964. They collectively agreed on the official name, Philippine Institute of Interior Design, Inc., PIID, Inc., as we know it.
The PIID is born.
Officially, their articles of incorporation were certified by the SEC on September 30th, received license number 25860. This was a foundational, indelible moment, a crucial step towards legitimate recognition, establishing their corporate identity, signaling their serious intent. It transformed a group of dedicated visionaries into a legally recognized, accountable entity. setting the stage for everything that followed.
And once they were official, it sounds like the PIAD just jumped right in,
So,
wasted no time making its presence known. Their premier public activity during this early phase was the annual Design and Decoration Show, first held December 1964 at the Architectural Center in Makati. How did these shows reflect what was happening in design then? What impact did they have?
oh, these shows were truly remarkable. They served as this vibrant kaleidoscope of design trends, actively shaping public taste. They reflected the dynamic, evolving state of design at the time. They varied so widely, showcasing everything from, refined historical or eclectic styles drawing richly from the past
Okay.
to the sleek minimalist modernism that was very much in vogue globally, and also the emerging neo-vernacular style, which consciously sought to incorporate distinct local Philippine aesthetics and materials into contemporary design.
Bridging local and global.
Exactly. These exhibitions were absolutely vital, shaping public taste, educating clients, showcasing the immense versatility and capability of professional interior design. They turned abstract ideas into tangible, inspiring realities for the public. And they weren't just static showcases either. They were platforms for innovation, for nurturing talent. The second Design and Decoration Show, December '65, held at the Northern Motors Showroom in Buendia. It even had a specific, quite innovative theme, contemporary uses of historical themes.
Interesting concept.
Right, speaks to the intellectual curiosity. And an especially innovative feature of that '65 show, which really showcased PID's forward thinking, was the actual execution of furniture designs by 3 student winners from the very first PIAD interior design
It's
competition.
involving students right away.
Right from the start. It showed this deep, early commitment to nurturing new talent, integrating academic excellence with practical professional practice, investing in the future generation right from the beginning. And this period also saw that significant, crucial expansion of interior design as an academic major at the university level. Edith Oliveros and Lor Calma, again, these key figures, they went on to establish the Philippine School of Interior Design, PSID, in 1967.
Another important institution founded.
Providing another critical educational pipeline for future designers, expanding access to formal training. Furthermore, that curriculum model from Lily Limpo and Belen More, the one they meticulously adapted from the New York School of Interior Design, that was formally established for the interior design course at UST in the late 1950s, leading to a full bachelor's degree major in interior design. This continuous growth in formal education, setting clear academic standards. It was absolutely critical to the systematic professionalization of the field, ensuring a consistent influx of highly trained individuals.
Okay, so after that initial spark, the PIID is established, the shows are happening, education is expanding. The 1970s and 80s sound like they were really about building the robust, comprehensive framework needed for true, formalized professionalization.
That's right.
It wasn't enough just to exist as an organization. They needed legal recognition, regulation, enforceable standards. What were the specific steps taken then to establish that formal regulatory body?
Exactly. The shift from advocacy to concrete regulation really gained significant momentum in the early 1980s. That impetus towards fulfilling those professionalization goals gained much firmer ground with the official formation of the Special Bureau of Interior Design, the BOID, in 1982.
The Boyd, okay.
And this board was strategically placed under the broader Board of Architecture within the Professional Regulation Commission, the PRC. And it's particularly noteworthy, the first members, individuals we've already met as key pioneers, Julio Matias, Lor Calma, and Balin Sablin-Mori.
The pioneers taking the regulatory reins?
Yes. Their appointment symbolized that continuity, that deep commitment of the original visionaries, now taking the helm of formally regulating the very profession they helped create. And then came, well, the moment of truth. Crucially, the very first licensure examinations for interior design followed soon after the board's formation, October 1983.
The first board exam. Imagine the pressure.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine the palpable anticipation around that inaugural exam. 13 aspiring interior designers took this monumental first step, and remarkably, 11 of them passed, earned their official licenses.
Wow. High pass rate for the first time.
It was. And this event marked a profound historic turning point. It was the official gatekeeping of the profession, establishing a formal, standardized benchmark for competence, ensuring that from that moment forward, only genuinely qualified individuals who had proven their mastery could legally practice. This was the moment interior design truly transformed into a regulated profession in the Philippines, with tangible consequences for practitioners and the public alike.
That's a huge step, the licensure. But You mentioned earlier having a strong, unified voice is crucial, right? Various groups, even if passionate, might not be as effective alone, especially when facing legislative hurdles. How did they achieve that unity?
That's a perceptive observation, and it was critical. It was at this juncture
Yeah.
that the members of another group, the Interior Design Association of the Philippines, or IDEP, they were strategically integrated into the PFIAD.
Ah, merger.
Essentially, yes. This merger was absolutely pivotal, forming a single, stronger, more cohesive organization that could truly speak with one voice for the entire profession. This unification was vital for establishing clear, consistent goals, setting comprehensive standards of practice across the board, and enforcing tighter guidelines that applied equally to everyone from new grads to senior pros. The overarching goal, which had been simmering for years, was now crystal clear, laser-focused, tirelessly work for the full independence of interior design from architecture, asserting its unique disciplinary identity and its legal autonomy. And this consolidation, this new sense of unity. It was even given this powerful symbolic visual representation. Co-founder Lord Kalma, his name pops up again, testament to his enduring influence. He even designed the modernist logo for the newly expanded and consolidated PIID around this time.
A new look for a new era.
Precisely. It wasn't just new design, it was a visual mark of this new, unified identity, signaling a cohesive, forward-looking profession that had successfully integrated its various factions under one banner, ready for the next phase.
It's so clear that professionalization isn't just about exams and associations. It's deeply rooted in the consistent quality of education underpinning the whole field. That academic pillar is foundational. How did the PIID address that crucial aspect systematically?
Indeed. And the Council of Interior Design Educators, CIDE, was a direct response to exactly that need. It was initiated and formally established by eye doctor Balin Seblin Moray, again, a name central to this profession's development, showing her far-reaching impact.
Truly instrumental.
Absolutely. CIDE composes numerous member schools across the Philippines, creating this broad, essential network. Institutions like UST, College of the Holy Spirit, PWU, Assumption, UP, PSID, La Constellation College in Bacolod, University of St. Louis Tuguegarao, UE Caloocan, St. Scholastica.
A wide reach.
A very wide reach. CID's critical and ongoing role is to unite these diverse institutions, ensuring a consistent, high-quality educational foundation. They painstakingly implement guidelines for preparing board exam questions via a standardized curriculum, ensuring what's taught aligns directly with what's tested for licensure. That's key.
Makes sense.
They also decide on the precise scope of subjects, teaching procedures, other academic requirements, ensuring consistency and quality from the ground up, guaranteeing all graduates meet a common, elevated standard necessary for a regulated profession.
Now, the push for full legal recognition, culminating in Republic Act 8534, you mentioned it was a marathon, not a sprint. Over a decade. What were the challenges? What kind of relentless advocacy did that take? It sounds exhausting.
You're absolutely right. Marathon is the perfect word. And yes, exhausting, but necessary. Starting in 1987, the tireless, often frustrating efforts to legislate improvements began in earnest. It wasn't a quick win. It was a continuous uphill battle. Leticia Sablin Limpo, along with Belen Sablin Moray and Jerry Contreras, initiated the meticulous drafting of an interior design bill. This bill then had to be filed in both the House and the Senate, and critically, it was faithfully followed up for an astonishing 12 years.
12 years, wow.
Imagine the countless meetings, the lobbying, the explanations to legislators who maybe didn't initially grasp the distinct value proposition of interior design. This long-term, persistent advocacy is just a profound testament to their unwavering dedication, their deep belief in the profession's inherent worth. The legislative journey officially kicked off with a Senate bill sponsored by Senator Teofisto Wingona in 1990, and it eventually, finally, culminated in that truly landmark piece of legislation, Republic Act 8534, signed into law by President Fidel Valdez Ramos on February 23, 1998.
The hard-won victory.
Absolutely. After years and years of tireless effort, and the impact of RA 8534, truly groundbreaking for the profession. For the very first time, it formally defined interior design as an autonomous and regulated discipline, explicitly separating it from architecture.
That's huge. Real independence.
Monumental. Before RA 8534, interior designers often operated, maybe under the shadow of architects, even on their own projects. This act formally severed that tie, recognized interior design as its own distinct discipline, with its own scope of practice, its own ethical code, its own legal standing.
What did that mean practically?
For practitioners, a new level of professional respect, Clearer boundaries, enhanced liability for their work, for clients, a clear standard of accountability, a guarantee of competence. Suddenly, hiring an interior designer wasn't just about taste, it was about engaging a legally recognized, competent professional. The Act also invested the Board of Interior Design, the BOID, with its own independent regulatory entity, distinct from the Board of Architecture. Plus, licensure exam requirements were significantly tightened, making entry more rigorous. And importantly, unlicensed interior design practitioners now faced clear penalties under this new law.
Giving the law teeth.
Exactly. It sent a clear signal. This is no longer a free-for-all. Competence and adherence to standards are mandatory. Even foreign practitioners were required to get temporary work permits before practicing locally, ensuring consistent standards for everyone operating in the Philippines. It was a comprehensive overhaul.
It's fascinating, though, that even after such a huge national legislative win, the PID didn't just look inward. They aimed for international standing, too. Clearly understood that true professionalization meant being recognized globally. What steps did they take there?
That's a crucial point. They knew a truly professional body needed to engage globally. Through the concerted efforts of senior members, again like Edith Oliveros and Bill and Morey, the PID achieved its first significant international accreditation. Became accredited to the Asia-Pacific Space Designers Alliance, APSDA, in October 1991 at its convention in Taiwan.
Okay, regional recognition first.
Yes, significantly enhancing PID's presence and credibility within the region. Vital validation opened doors for collaboration. Then, further cementing its global presence, in October 1995, PID was officially accepted as a full member in the professional category of the International Federation of Interior Architects Designers, IFI. That happened at its international convention in Nagoya, Japan.
IFI, that's the big one globally, right?
That's the major global body. This provided crucial international validation, established the Philippines' interior design profession as a recognized player on the world map, adhering to global best practices. And beyond the legislative and international breakthroughs, the late 1990s also saw this renewed focus on community building within the PID membership itself. More regular, vibrant activities, primarily centered around annual anniversary celebrations, major exhibitions, like those at the World BEX Convention starting in 1998.
Keeping the community connected.
Exactly. These events, plus other sponsored anniversary celebrations that continued into the 2000s, were crucial, fostering a stronger sense of community, solidarity, shared identity among professionals. It wasn't just about laws or global recognition. It was about building a cohesive, engaged professional family, making sure members felt connected and supported.
Okay, so RA 8534 was a landmark in '98, but it seems the work of professionalization is never truly done, is it? The new millennium apparently brought fresh complexities, identified some lingering gaps in that law that needed addressing urgently. What were these new challenges? Why was another modernization of the law considered so crucial?
That's a perceptive point. At the dawn of the new millennium, despite the huge strides of RA 8534, it was indeed felt that many provisions were just insufficient. Insufficient to comprehensively address the evolving professional concerns. This necessitated moves to further strengthen the profession through an even newer, more robust law. Key concerns. Well, one big one was the legitimacy and protection of using the term interior designer, or the prefix IDR. If unlicensed people could still use it loosely, it undermined the whole point of licensure.
Right, protects the title.
Critical for professional integrity and consumer protection. Then there was the significant challenge of integrating a large number of senior, experienced but unlicensed practitioners into the formal system. How do you recognize their years of practice while upholding standards?
Tricky balance.
Very. And finally, addressing loopholes concerning reciprocity agreements. That's the mutual recognition of licenses between countries. How do Filipino IDers practice abroad and vice versa? But these issues collectively raise big questions about consistency, protecting the profession's integrity, and frankly, its global competitiveness in an increasingly interconnected world. Addressing these concerns, not simple. It took a rigorous series of board meetings, extensive consultations, often challenging with the BOID, with influential members of both the House and Senate. Starting from 2006 onward, the PID leadership showed extraordinary tenacity again. They successfully shepherded a new, much stronger law into existence. This culmination of years of dedicated advocacy, political engagement, resulted in Republic Act 10350, signed into law by President Benigno Simeon Aquino III on December 17, 2012.
RA 10350, the next big step.
Exactly. This new act effectively reinforced the interior design profession in the Philippines in significant, far-reaching ways, truly solidifying its legal framework for the modern era. RA 10350 dramatically strengthened the profession, building on RA 8534's foundation. Interior design plans now require far more thorough documentation, adhere to much stricter licensing rules, higher level of detail, more accountability. But crucially, and this was a major win for professional identity, the prefix iDoctare is now exclusive only to licensed professionals.
Ah, so that's when eye doctor became legally protected.
Yes, provides a clear, legally protected identifier, makes it easier for the public to spot legitimate professionals, deters unauthorized practice. Furthermore, foreign consultants wanting to work here now required to get specific permits and mandated to have a local licensed practitioner as a counterpart. And that local counterpart needs a minimum of 10 years experience to interpret and execute their plans.
Ensuring local expertise is involved.
Vital. Ensures local expertise and accountability are always maintained. Protects the Filipino design industry from unchecked foreign influence, and ensures public safety by integrating local knowledge. It truly cemented the professional standing.
Now, that's a fascinating detail you mentioned earlier in this consolidation period, how the profession handled its seasoned but maybe not formally licensed veterans. It sounds quite empathetic. A commitment to recognizing experience, not just diplomas. Can you explain the grandfather's clause mechanics and reasoning?
It was indeed a thoughtful and necessary measure. Between 2001 and 2012, alongside that big push for RA 10350, the PIID initiated this important advocacy program specifically designed to register all those unlicensed senior and provincial practitioners under what's known as the Grandfather's Clause.
Okay.
This provision was a crucial acknowledgement of the profession's history, where formal licensing hadn't always been required or accessible. It allowed experienced individuals, those who could demonstrably prove they'd practiced interior design for at least 10 years before RA 8534 passed, to apply to the PRC Boyd for their licenses.
Based on experience, not just exams.
Exactly. The process involved a rigorous submission and evaluation of their design portfolio, allowing their practical expertise, their proven track record, to serve as a pathway to formal recognition. This was truly crucial. Legitimized and professionalized a large group of experienced designers who, for various reasons, hadn't taken the official Boyd exams, ensured their invaluable practical contributions were acknowledged, integrated them into the formal, regulated structure rather than leaving them outside. It was about unity, recognizing all forms of legitimate experience. And this acknowledgement of senior professionals' contributions, it continues today, well beyond the Grandfather's Clause. It's actively undertaken by the PRC's Outstanding Professional of the Year Awards, a prestigious annual recognition, ensures their legacy, dedication, lifelong impact are continually recognized and celebrated within the broader professional community, helps preserve that institutional memory, inspire new generations.
Okay, so after this incredible, transformative journey in formal decoration to rigorous regulation, what does this all mean for what interior design is today? And more specifically, who truly qualifies as a professional interior designer in the Philippines now? Let's get to that core definition.
Absolutely. Interior design, as officially and legally defined now, is a comprehensive field. It beautifully marries both science and art. It's the disciplined science and art of planning, meticulously specifying, carefully selecting, and strategically organizing surface finishes and materials. This includes everything: furniture, furnishings, fixtures, any other decoration within an architectural interior.
Sounds very thorough.
It is. Its fundamental purpose is intelligent space allocation to suit, enhance, and profoundly meet the intended function, optimize movement, define the overall character for which the interior is designed. So you can hear it's highly technical, demanding scientific understanding of materials, human behavior, codes, and profoundly artistic, requiring creativity, aesthetic sensibility. It's about crafting environments that are not just beautiful, but also safe, functional, and deeply responsive to human needs. And now, with that established legal framework from the Republic Acts, a professional interior designer is precisely defined: a natural person holding a valid certificate of registration and a professional identification card. These critical documents are officially issued by the Board of Interior Design and the Professional Regulation Commission, strictly pursuant to the Act. And to make it crystal clear for everyone, professionals and the public, the official appendage title adopted for registered and licensed interior designers through RA 10350 is iDoctor. iDoctor, the mark of a licensed pro. Exactly. A clear, legally protected mark of their expertise, formal qualification, and commitment to professional standards. When you see iDoctor OI attached to a name, you know they've met the rigorous requirements.
So, beyond its rich history, what does the PIID actually look like now, in the present day? What's its continuing significance in the current landscape? How does it function as an active professional body today?
The PIID today maintains this robust, multifaceted structure. comprehensively supporting its ongoing mandate for professional excellence and development. One of its pinnacle components is the College of Fellows, the COF. This isn't just a title, it's an honorary organization within PIID. Members are those who've reached the absolute zenith of their careers, demonstrated unparalleled dedication and accomplishment.
The best of the best, essentially.
You could say that. Conferment to the COF is considered the pinnacle, recognizing outstanding, dedicated professionalism based on a lifetime of accomplishment, exemplary service, unblemished ethical conduct, profound leadership. The COF, as the preeminent association, is strategically positioned to offer invaluable expertise and guidance to PID as a whole. They have a special active focus on mentoring new generations, supporting vital advocacies, cultural preservation, arts, environmental sustainability and design, providing crucial leadership steering the profession's future. And revisiting the Council of Interior Design Educators, CID, which we touched on earlier, its role remains absolutely crucial. Established back in '79, initiated by Dr. Belen Sablon-More. CID is that vital nexus for academic standards, composed of a wide range of member schools, creating a unified front for design education.
Still standardizing the curriculum.
Meticulously. Standardizing the interior design curriculum among all schools and institutions. They unite and implement precise guidelines for preparing board exam questions, ensuring that direct alignment between teaching and assessment. They decide on the scope of subjects, teaching procedures, other academic requirements, ensuring that consistent, high-quality foundation across the nation. From Bacolod to Tugarao, academic consistency is paramount. Then you have the Board of Interior Design, the BOID, operates as a direct arm under the PRC, one of 43 professional regulatory boards, wields significant administrative, quasi-legislative, quasi-judicial powers over the profession.
So they make the rules and enforce them.
You're the orchestrators and the guardians, yes. On one hand, they actively shape the future, prepare the licensure exams, craft the content, determine, prescribe, revise academic course requirements, influencing what's taught. They even conduct visits and inspections of schools, ensuring compliance.
Quality control.
Definitely. But on the other hand, they're also the enforcers, protectors of integrity, critical responsibility, adopt and enforce a code of ethics, paramount for public trust, professional conduct. They administer oaths, issue the certificates of registration, the legal gateway to practice. And if there are violations, the BOID has the authority to investigate, adjudicate cases against erring registrants, and yes, even suspend, revoke, or reissue certificates. This board is truly the backbone of regulation and oversight, ensuring accountability, protecting the public and the profession. And it's important to remember, PID's influence isn't just Manila-centric. It's truly national, wide national reach, vibrant regional chapters across the country, Eastern Visayas chapter, Negros, Panay, Cebu, Mindanao chapters, ensuring PID standards support community-building efforts extend throughout the archipelago, making it a truly inclusive, representative body.
Okay, after this whole journey, history, legislation, structure, you, our listener, might be asking, why does all this detail matter to me if I'm just looking to hire an interior designer? For my home, my office, whatever project? This is where the PID makes that tangible, practical, really significant difference for you, the client.
This is a critical point. It speaks directly to the value proposition. Commissioning a PIA member is currently the only reliable way to ensure your designer has truly met and maintained the Philippine professional standards. This is vital because in the Philippines, despite the laws, interior designer isn't yet a fully protected term. There are ongoing enhancements to RA 10350. Nuances still exist. Meaning, in practical terms, currently, anyone can still potentially set up shop and call themselves a design consultant, decorator, or stylist, regardless of actual qualifications, education, or experience. There's no absolute legal barrier to entry for those specific terms, which can be confusing and risky for clients. However, when you hire a PID member, especially when you see PID attached to their name, their credentials, you can be absolutely sure. That designer has undergone rigorous scrutiny at exceptionally high standards of professionalism and competence.
It's a verifiable credential.
It's exactly. Provides a layer of trust, assurance, accountability that's just not present otherwise. A clear signal of quality, adherence to a professional code. And to become a PIAD member, a designer must meet very specific, rigorous requirements. Ensures ongoing competence. First, successfully completed a 4-year Bachelor of Interior Design course, formal diploma or certificate from a recognized institution. Second, pass that rigorous national board exam for professional competence conducted by the PRC, that critical gatekeeping. And finally, to maintain membership, ensure knowledge stays current, stay actively engaged, they must fulfill the Institute's requirement. 15 points for continuing professional development, CPD. Effective since March 15, 2019 for every 3-year cycle.
Ongoing learning.
Yes, ongoing learning, workshops, seminars. Additionally, attend 6 general membership meetings, GMMs, ensuring active participation. These requirements ensure continuous learning, ethical conduct, active engagement, directly benefiting you, the client, through their updated expertise and adherence to best practices.
So definitely not just picking paint colors or furniture anymore, is it? It sounds like the scope of a professional interior designer's work, as defined by law, is incredibly vast, encompassing so many crucial technical, artistic aspects. What exactly does that comprehensive scope entail?
That's very true. Common misconception. The practice of interior design is legally and comprehensively defined as the act of planning, meticulously designing, precisely specifying, supervising, providing general administration and responsible direction to the functional, orderly, aesthetic arrangement and enhancement of interior spaces. This includes, but is definitely not limited to, a comprehensive list of activities, demonstrates the depth and breadth of their expertise. For example, expert consultation, professional advice, strategic direction, thorough evaluation, detailed budgetary estimates, accurate appraisals, ensuring financial transparency, viability.
Project management aspects, too.
Big time. Also covers schematic interior design development, detailed design development, executing complex professional contract documents, strategic programming of construction phases, keeping projects on track, on budget. Furthermore, meticulous preparation of accurate interior design plans, precise design drawings, intricate interior construction details, comprehensive technical specifications, all vital for execution, code compliance. Professional interior designers also engage in rigorous interior construction administration, crucial supervision, seamless coordination of alterations, preservation, restoration, ensuring the design vision is realized accurately, safely.
So much involved.
It is. This wide legal scope explicitly includes all other works, projects, activities requiring the professional competence of the interior designer. Even extends to the vital role of teaching interior design subjects, shaping the next generation. And significantly, the Board of Interior Design, subject to commission approval, has the dynamic power to revise, exclude from, or add to these activities as needed, ensuring the profession's scope always conforms to the latest trends, tech advancements, evolving best practices. It truly is a dynamic, incredibly comprehensive, fundamentally important field. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. What an incredible, really multifaceted journey we've taken today. From those urgent post-war needs and the informal decorators, through tireless pioneers, legislative battles spanning decades, establishment of robust educational regulatory frameworks, to what is now this highly regulated, autonomous, internationally recognized profession. It truly highlights the profound power of collective action, persistent advocacy, and the unwavering dedication of those individuals who saw design as more than just beauty.
This deep dive unequivocally shows us, doesn't it? Interior design is far more than just aesthetics or surface decoration. It's a critical component of nation building, directly impacting our daily lives, our productivity, our well-being, the quality of our built environment. The rich history of the PIAD is just this powerful testament to the profound belief that thoughtful, professional design can significantly enhance and provide meaningful, lasting contributions to our lives, our communities, the world around us. It's a story of vision becoming reality through sheer determination.
So as you reflect on this compelling journey of professionalization, maybe think about this. With the rapid advancements we're seeing now, technology, sophisticated smart home systems, immersive AR/VR for design visualization, and the ever-growing global imperative for sustainability, for wellness in our spaces, how do you think the scope of interior design itself will continue to evolve in the next few decades? What new boundaries might be pushed? What new specializations might emerge? What unexpected challenges might arise as our built environments respond to these massive global shifts and human needs?
And building right on that, consider the implications of an increasingly globalized design world. We talked about the struggle for independence, but how might those reciprocity agreements, those vital legal frameworks for practicing across borders, how might they continue to be refined, expanded? And, perhaps most provocatively, what does a truly globally competitive Filipino interior designer look like in, say, 2025 beyond? It's not just about what specific tasks they do within a space, is it? But how their unique practice, their perspective, contributes to a broader interconnected design ecosystem, one that spans continents and cultural boundaries.
Fascinating questions. Ones that will undoubtedly shape the future of this vital profession. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the rich history and vibrant future of interior design in the Philippines.
We truly hope you're leaving today feeling more informed, perhaps more intrigued, and definitely with a deeper appreciation for the thought and professionalism behind the spaces you inhabit every day. Until next time.